Why do you think that 50% of white women are likely voting for Donald Trump? Because they're fucking racist. And what do you have to say to those women? Get out of Cracker Barrel and come into 2024?
I've been looking into what people in Michigan are saying about the cost of living, and here's what is coming up frequently. Whether it's shopping at Kroger's or any other local store, people are saying that they can't even predict their groceries anymore. And these aren't people that are shopping for unnecessary items, they're just trying to get the basic necessities to live. When you can't predict what your grocery bill is going to be and budget accordingly, as most Republicans and MAGA people want to say, then what are we supposed to do? It's hard to think that Democrats are the only one that find this as a true issue when the MAGA Republicans are probably also suffering and just don't want to admit it. Did you know that Michigan drivers are paying so much for gas? Like, the numbers are actually wild. Michigan's gas is sitting at like $4.15 per gallon, which is higher than the national average. And when you're basically already paying for groceries, housing, or basically anything, a couple extra dollars really starts to add up. Let's start being honest with ourselves. Does your paycheck feel like it's keeping up? Because why do Republicans keep trying to give the rich more breaks and assistance versus the ones that actually need it?
You'd have voted for Trump because you were promised that you were going to be able to own a home in 5 years. You were going to be able to work and save up enough money to have a down payment on a home in 5 years because he was going to make the housing market more affordable, right? But I live in Michigan and we are still roughly 119,000 homes short, with the average renters making about half of the average income that they need, which is about $67,000 a year that is needed to own a home. On average, renters are making half of that. And yet, MAGA promised us the American dream, that we were going to be able to own a home and work and live the dream. Are you feeling closer to that? Because I know I'm not.
Is this like a trick question?
For real, what has he done for us? Our gas prices are up, our grocery prices are up, our electric prices are up. Do you know how hard it is to support a family of four?
So I think that the prices are going to go down. And here's my thing. Until the prices are worse with Donald Trump than they were with Joe Biden, I'm going to give Trump a chance.
I absolutely agree with you, but do you know how much it costs to feed a family of four?
I'm sure a lot.
A week. Over $400.
Going on the news?
How does President Trump, who I voted for and support, expect me to support my two children when I can't afford to put food in my house? But I can't get welfare because I make too much money. I can't get HUD or what is all the assistance that all the people are getting because I make too much money. But my children have to go with cheap food because I can't afford to put food in their house. Joe Biden is horrible. I'll never stick by Joe Biden.
I'm just is it worse or is it better?
Price-wise, I honestly feel like it's worse. I really, really do. I
think the economy is very bad right now.
I voted for him.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices on groceries. And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken. I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this. I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen. So what do I do now? What do the people do now? The ones that regret their vote. What do we do? I can't go out and get a regular job. And it's not even about these families being separated from their loved ones. It's not about these 5 and 6-year-olds getting their families taken away from them in the middle of a school day. It's not about any of that. It's about me and my food stamps and my cash assistance. Me. That I'm the only one that matters in this country. I'm taking my life back.
Michigan is particularly vulnerable because its economy is deeply connected to manufacturing, automobiles, agriculture, and trade with Canada. When tariffs raise the cost of steel, aluminum, imported parts, machinery, or other materials, those costs do not simply disappear. Businesses have to absorb them, reduce investment, slow hiring, or pass part of the increase to customers. Detroit automakers are already warning that trade changes could cost them billions of dollars. General Motors has projected billions in tariff-related expenses, while Ford has also expected a major financial hit. That matters far beyond corporate earnings. Michigan families depend on factories, suppliers, transportation companies, dealerships, contractors, and small businesses connected to the automotive economy. State reports have also warned that tariffs are increasing costs for ordinary Michigan households. Higher construction costs can make affordable housing harder to build. Reduced exports to Canada can hurt businesses that depend on cross-border trade. Agricultural producers can lose customers when foreign governments retaliate against American products. For a working family, all of those pressures eventually meet in the same place. The monthly budget, a car costs more, repairs cost more, housing becomes harder to afford, groceries remain expensive, gas takes a larger share of the paycheck. That is why some Trump supporters can still agree with parts of his agenda while admitting that the economic pain is becoming difficult to ignore. Political loyalty does not make a checkout total smaller. And when major employers feel pressure, workers begin wondering whether reduced investment today could become fewer opportunities tomorrow.
People in Michigan can't afford their groceries. People in Michigan are paying $5 for gas. People in Michigan are struggling to pay their rent. And this man, he got elected to office saying he was going to fix all that, but instead he kicked off a war to raise our gas prices even higher. He's busy trying to figure out the colors on the drapes or fix the reflecting pool, which he can't even do. And so, yeah, he's going to try and fearmonger about me, but the question really is about him. Every single day he talks about me, we're winning. Because at the end of the day, I am everything he fears. So we are going to stand up to him. We are going to take him on. We are going to fight for the affordability that he doesn't even care to fight for.
I made a huge mistake. A friend of mine sent me a video of somebody who is MAGA complaining about the fact that they have no money. And I ended up going down a rabbit hole of people just like her who are taking to this app to talk about how poor they are as a result of this administration. Okay, they voted for this. In many cases, 3 times. 3 times they voted for him. And now they are loudly complaining on the internet that they are broke and on the verge of being unhoused, not being able to afford their medication. It's almost as if we kept saying this over and over and over again. We warned everybody all the time. We told you this would happen. We told you he was going to make things worse for the people who voted for him. And it is happening. People cannot afford to live in this country. You have no one but yourselves to blame. And it makes me so frustrated because the rest of us have to deal with it alongside you.
Do you know anyone who's voting Harris?
No. I don't know anyone voting for Trump either. I feel like I'm a Palestinian first than an American. That's what I learned from this, to be honest. I will be voting Green Party. I'll be voting for Jill Stein. I'd rather my vote, even whatever people says that these votes will be considered for a different party, because considering we're a swing state, I genuinely do not care. I care that my vote is a morally conscious vote, and it will be going for Jill Stein. And I'm done catering to a 2-party system. I think the U.S. is secondary to Israel. I do blame the Democratic Party. I do blame that these people in administration, like my parents voted for Biden. A lot of out of India born voted for Biden. And what did we get? We get promised this and that, and we got a genocide. We got this continuous support of mass murder of children, women, elder. The people who voted for you, like, these people are directly impacted and they genuinely do not care. And when they play this game where they send people to Michigan to tell us, hey, like, if you vote for us, we're going to continue doing that. Like, I'm not playing this game anymore. My vote does not matter. People like me and people like who look like me, dress like me, act like me. I genuinely believe the United States of America does not care about what my people think. I feel like change shouldn't be just done through elections. Like, as an American, my power isn't just to vote. My power is in my freedom of speech, my freedom of assembly.
Michigan voters were promised that Donald Trump's return would make everyday life more affordable, strengthen American manufacturing, and protect workers from the economic pressures that had frustrated families for years. But across the state, that promise is colliding with a much harder reality. Grocery bills remain painful, gasoline has climbed again, borrowing costs are high, and Michigan's economy is being squeezed by trade policies that hit one of America's most manufacturing-dependent states especially hard. For many Trump supporters, this is not an abstract debate about economic theory. It is the weekly trip to the grocery store, the cost of filling a truck, the payment on a home, and the fear that a job connected to the auto industry may become less secure. Recent polling has shown that even Republican voters are becoming less confident about their own financial positions, while Michigan voters continue to rank affordability among their biggest concerns. That frustration is especially powerful because Trump built so much of his political appeal around the idea that he understood economic pain. He promised better deals, lower costs, stronger factories, and an America that would stop losing to foreign competitors. But when a voter hears those promises and then watches household expenses rise, the emotional reaction can be intense. The question stops being whether Trump sounds confident at a rally. It becomes whether the family budget actually feels stronger at home. That gap between expectation and experience is where confidence can begin to weaken, especially when every expense feels unavoidable.
Nearly 80% of voters in what are called farming-dependent counties voted for President Trump in the last election.
I feel like a lot of American farmers, cattle people, a lot of people probably feel let down currently. Now, maybe there's a method to the madness. That's still to be seen.
Many are now taking their frustrations directly to Republican lawmakers at town halls across the country.
I'm about ready to lose my farm. I am pissed, and I'm pissed at you.
The people that count, those people love Trump. Because I've done more for you than your parents, okay? Your parents are good. I'm not going to knock your parents, but I have been better to you than your parents. That I can tell you, and they would agree with me. Wherever they may be, they would agree.
Have you guys ever quantified how much government corruption is costing your family's pocketbook? I mean, I can tell you for me, personally, when Donald Trump passed the big, beautiful bill, in which he's sitting on $2.2 billion more in personal wealth since he walked into the White House last year, and all of his 1% cronies made a shit ton more money as well. It drove our healthcare costs exponentially. We're paying $2,121 to be exact more in premium this year compared to last year, and our copays and deductibles went up another 11%. My daughter's endoscopy she gets every year. Last year it was $1,300 out of pocket. This year, $1,700, $400 more. And here's what I'm not sharing with everybody. Our premiums went up $2,000 a year, but we have one less family member because my oldest daughter aged out. So according to my calculations, our premiums went up $5,000 a year. Meanwhile, all of these healthcare costs that have been pushed on us were designed to offset the permanent tax breaks Donald Trump gave the top 1%, including himself. Folks, this is not a partisan issue. We have stuff going on in every state trying to get money out of politics, whether it's in Michigan through a ballot initiative. You've got candidates everywhere fighting for Medicare for all, so we're guaranteed health care not associated with the 1% and governmental corruption. It's up to us. We can do this.
Michigan, can you please explain this one to me? We were told not to waste money on a new car. We were told to keep the paid off car and just maintain it until we can't anymore. That sounds financially responsible, right? Except for tariffs can increase the price to car parts. The cost of materials can increase and businesses pass that cost on to us. So here in the Motor City, keeping the car that you have already paid off can be more expensive. How are MAGA's tariffs supposed to help Michigan families with affordability? This is when maintaining a car that we already own costs more.
We're not doing enough for this country, and we're not doing enough for Israel, and we're not helping Israel enough.
Look at the gas. I mean, every time I go to that gas pump, I get so upset inside. When Trump was president, gas prices were nowhere near this amount. It's getting to the point where people cannot survive. They're getting 2 or 3 jobs to survive.
I think Donald Trump is talking to God, and when he enacts something, an executive order or something, it's because God actually told him.
I don't know about that, but I believe he's getting his instructions from God. Yeah, I sure do.
He's good with like the fans and like making people like him. Like his crowd, they like him a lot because of what he does. But
I don't think he's dangerous. I think he's just like he's doing his job. He's trying his best. I mean, I'd like to put myself in his shoes for a day. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that. He's not dangerous.
We love prosperity. We love to work. We love to share our prosperity with the people that we choose to share it with, not people the government tells us we have to give it to. It's my freedom, my money, my hard work, my labor. I can do what I want with it. And we want that freedom back.
It's so frustrating to put gas in your car in Michigan. It's like $5 a gallon. And to fill your tank, it's like $80. And it won't even last a week. And you have to commute back and forth from work. And after working a whole month, you barely have like $450 left to budget for next month's gas. and Republicans are supporting a war that has increased gas prices, like, where are we going with this? This crisis has to be resolved.
The larger lesson from Michigan is that economic policy eventually becomes personal. Tariffs can be explained as negotiating tools. Trade conflicts can be described as temporary sacrifices. Higher costs can be defended as the price of rebuilding American industry. But voters judge an economy through their own lives long before economists finish debating the theory. For Michigan, the stakes are unusually high. The state depends on manufacturing, cross-border commerce, agriculture, and an auto industry built around complicated international supply chains. A policy designed to pressure foreign countries can also pressure the workers and businesses it is supposed to protect. That does not mean every economic problem in Michigan was created by Trump. Inflation, energy prices, interest rates, global conflict, labor costs, and structural challenges also contribute today. But presidents ask voters to judge them on results, and Trump specifically promised that his policies would make life more affordable and American industry stronger. Now the test is happening in real time. If Michigan families continue paying more while companies warn about billions in additional costs, political slogans will become harder to separate from household reality. And if voters who enthusiastically supported Trump begin questioning whether their own lives have actually improved, that could matter far beyond one state. The most important question is no longer whether Trump can convince a rally that his economy is successful. It is whether Michigan families feel that success when the bills arrive, the tank is empty, and another paycheck disappears before the month is over.
All right, Trump supporters. First and foremost, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I've got a bunch of them, but hey, let's dive right into it. So Donald Trump now is extremely pissed off at the Republican Party, the people that helped get him in office. Now, this is what is just baffling to me, folks, is Donald Trump is sitting here mad at his own party because they won't back and support his agenda. But his agenda does not help the American people. You people out there that voted for him, you voted based on the premise of what Donald Trump could do for you, but not thinking about what he was going to do for himself. The Republican Party backed him because they thought that they were going to have a leg up in getting somewhere in the political realm, maybe a VP one day, maybe run for president or whatever. And now they've realized that Donald Trump is only worried about him and his family. He's trying to get one of his sons now to run for office. He's trying to produce that in case he can't run, because Donald Trump's also trying to run in 28. If he can't, he's going to have an offspring try to do it. And we're going to be back in this rat race. Donald Trump is trying to get rid of the Democratic Party altogether. He's trying to make it to where there's only one party, and that's the Republican Party. And really, it's a Donald Trump party. It's a MAGA party, which we clearly see that's done nothing for this economy. It's done nothing for the state of America. It's not helped anybody. It's hurt the kids. It's hurt the veterans. It's hurt us hardworking American individuals. So you people that are out there voting for him, you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and say, do you want another 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years of this, of high gas prices, wars, and somebody in there that's only out for themselves and their wallets? That's a question you got to ask yourself.
Is there any way in which your life has gotten better during this second Trump administration?
No, not at all.
No, absolutely not. I have nothing.
I don't know how to answer that one.
Have you seen any way in which your life has gotten better during this second Trump presidency?
No, not at all. In any aspect, no.
Has it gotten worse?
Yeah, everything as far as economy, so much worse. Everything harder to pay for, and just, I would say, like, society too, a lot more tension than there was, a few years ago. But I feel like that's being, the flames are being fanned a little bit more by the administration.
Since President Trump has become president the second time in a second term, can you guys name one way in which your life has gotten better?
I don't know if this has affected me personally, but like overall, like economic things when it comes to like the actual government, I think has like been able to be a little bit more stabilized, but I don't know about like me personally.
I mean, I feel like I don't pay attention too much to all like the specifics of everything.
My question for you is, I'm a single mom of 5, and becoming difficult to afford, the basics. So can you please tell me what you're going to do to lower the prices for us?
Yeah. So what we have to do, because the prices are so high. Thank you, darling, very much. It's a great question. People are hurt by the cost of groceries, the cost of everything. There's nothing less expensive. If you go back 4 or 5 years, everything was just a fraction of what it is now. And they're making, essentially, if they make the same wages, they're getting wiped out because prices are up 50, 60, 70% for a lot of things. For some items, it's much more than that. Well, look at interest rates. They were 2%. Now they're 10%. But at 10%, you can't get the money. At 2%, there was plenty of money for everybody for buying a house, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at groceries, I think it's this thing that really, I always say this is an election that I used to say determined by the stomach. Actually, I don't believe that anymore. I think it's now determined by the brain, because nobody wants to have criminals pouring into our country. Nobody wants to have any of these horrible things that are happening to our country. But we're going to be bringing them down, and it's going to start with energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. Energy's coming way down. Energy is coming way down, and when energy comes down, everything else follows.
Detroit has higher grocery prices than bloody California.
Yeah.
It is insane what's going on at the moment, but the easiest thing to do is to turn around and point the finger at Antifa, brown people, immigrants.
But explain to me how Antifa has anything to do with the price of eggs.
Nothing.
This Antifa thing is by far one of the most frightening things, because they are literally making up a boogeyman.
Yeah.
That will allow them to just snatch people off the
To go
streets.
along with all of the other boogeymen that they've created or made certain groups of people into.
If you've literally got nothing to offer people and you're in the midst of taking away their health care, you're snatching their families off the street, if you're basically doing all this shit, you've got to blame somebody.
The contradiction becomes sharper when Trump travels to Michigan and tells supporters that his economic strategy is working. At rallies, he can point to investment announcements, American production, and the long-term promise of forcing companies to build more inside the United States. Supporters who believe in that strategy argue that tariffs can create short-term pain in exchange for stronger domestic industry later. But families have to survive the short term before they can benefit from the long term. A worker cannot pay today's grocery bill with a promise about a factory that may expand years from now. A retiree cannot fill a gas tank with an economic projection. A small business cannot keep absorbing higher costs indefinitely while waiting for trade negotiations to produce a better outcome. That is where disappointment can turn into regret. Some Michigan Trump supporters have acknowledged that high prices are hurting badly even while continuing to support him. Nationally, Republican confidence in personal finances has weakened, and a meaningful share of Republican voters now say they feel worse off financially than when Trump's second term began. Those voters do not all become Democrats. Many still support Trump on immigration, culture, foreign policy, or other issues. But economic frustration changes the relationship between a voter and a politician. A campaign promise is easy to cheer when it remains a promise. It becomes harder to defend when the voter can measure the result every week in gasoline, groceries, housing, insurance, and debt. That uncertainty itself carries weight.
Nobody seriously understands how expensive it is in Michigan and how expensive it continues to get in Michigan unless you're actually living here and you are trying to raise a family. We've constantly been told that things are going to continue to get more affordable, but that was a lie. They haven't. When rent, groceries, gas, literally everything are continuing to rise, that is unacceptable. We can't survive to live here anymore. I would personally like to know what is being done to help affordability in Michigan. Like Mike Rogers' campaign, his whole campaign is about affordability in Michigan, but MAGA Republicans, they won't let anything happen.
If I hear one more MAGA Republican in the state of Michigan talk about how great the economy is doing and how we are in one of the best spots that we have been in a long time, Trump has done so much good for our economy, I'll send you my grocery bill from Meijer today. I literally live in Westland, Michigan. Spent over $100 on groceries just for the necessities. Chicken, eggs, bread, yogurt, some fruit. And this is like a weekly thing. Like I have to replenish for my family every single week. But yeah, that's what the MAGA agenda looks like. Our economy is so, so great. Well, this is the reality of working people in the state of Michigan and what we can put on our kitchen table. MAGA voters didn't vote for Trump because they wanted a tax cut. They voted because they wanted to own a home and they wanted to live a more affordable life. But I live in Michigan and looking at my state right now, we're facing billions of dollars in tax cuts. But let me ask you, did that tax cut make you any closer to being able to afford a home? Because in Michigan, we're still facing a shortage of homes by like 120,000. And the average amount that is needed to be made income-wise for a homeowner of about $68,000 a year. On average, renters in Michigan are making half of that. So are we any closer, MAGA? Did you actually make it more affordable? No. False promises were made. And once again, people fell for it. So once again, Trump and MAGA did not do anything that they promised.
Just admit it. You guys got duped. You got played. Everybody told you so, and you didn't want to listen.
The promises are being broken. The promises are being broken. Mocked. Openly mocked.
Like when he told you he'd lower electricity prices?
Watching my electric go from $2.25 to $5.15.
Or when he told you that he'd lower prescription drug costs.
Millions of Americans who do rely on this particular Medicare subsidy will be paying more for their drug premium.
Or when he said tariffs would be great for the economy.
Indeed, the Fox News poll shows about 3/4 of Americans now feel negatively about the economy. They kind of feel, at least what we found on the ground, is that they feel like the wealthy doing okay, and the rest maybe not so much.
Or when he said that Kamala would get us into a war with Iran.
We have a war that's going on. I guess you call it a war. Maybe I call it a military operation.
Or when they said they'd release the Epstein files, or when they blamed a vandal for the damage to the reflecting pool, or when they quietly changed the number of casualties in the Iran war, or any of a million other things that they lied to you about.
For Trump because you were promised affordability. But affordability isn't just a political slogan that entices people, it's reflected in your weekly grocery bill, your gas tank, your rent, your healthcare costs. So let's look at what administration and Republicans in Congress are actually doing for us. So I live in Michigan, and the Michigan governor's office just estimated a raise of cost of $1,000 per family in the state of Michigan due to tariffs on businesses and consumers. And this is all because you voted for Trump because you thought that he was going to make America more affordable, right? And MAGA always just pushed that, right? America's gonna be so much more affordable. I don't see it, do you?
Steve Ratner has a piece out that is just devastating for Trump. Watch this. It's called Trump's Broken Promises in 11 Charts. It doesn't just tell you, it shows you all the promises he has made and what has happened instead. First promise, we're going to grow like nobody's ever grown before. Talking about the economy. Then a chart showing the actual change in real gross domestic product. Look how much the economy is slowing under Donald Trump. Ouch. Next one. In the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years. Balance the federal budget. Not only has he not done that, the deficit is projected to keep growing and reach $3.1 trillion by 2035. He also says that we are going to use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt. It'll all happen very quickly. Except, whoops, the national debt is about to break its World War II record as a share of GDP. Another Trump promise, America will be a manufacturing nation once again. Except, oops, manufacturing employment has stalled. Here's one of Trump's most famous promises. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again to bring down the prices of all goods. Insert your womp womp sound here. Next is the famous we're going to get gasoline below $2 a gallon. I think we all know how that one ended up. And there's his promise that young people will be able to buy a home again because housing will be affordable. Except, whoops, housing prices have barely gone down. Trump promised to get mortgage rates down to 3%. Womp. They're stuck at 7. This promise is particularly heartbreaking in retrospect. We're not cutting Medicaid, we're not cutting Medicare, and we're not cutting Social Security. Look at this. Sometimes a picture really is worth 1,000 words. Don't forget, the worst of the cuts don't kick in until next year and then every year after, worse and worse because of Republicans and Trump. Next, we've got Trump's promise to bring down healthcare costs. Whoopsies! Price of health insurance jumped 26% from last year. And that's just so far. It's one broken promise after another. And if you are still a Trump supporter at this point in time, can I ask, what exactly has he done for you? That's okay. I'll wait. But spoiler alert, you got lied to.
I'm definitely a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I believe in him wholeheartedly. And
Tell me why.
Because our economy was better. I had money in my pocket. I wasn't spending $5 a gallon for diesel.
Yeah.
We run a small business, and it's important. Fuel, energy is important.
So the numbers show that the economy is better, but you're not feeling it?
No, I don't believe in their numbers. They lie.
Even though that's what
I check myself, and they lie.
How so? Tell me.
How so? Well, like they say the economy's better. It's not. Immigrants being over here is fine as long as they come legally. And we vet them, and we know who is riding beside us in our vehicles. They don't know our laws. They don't speak our language. How can they communicate properly? It's not safe for them, and it's not safe for us.
And so gaslighting the people and trying to tell them that prices have come down is not helping. It's actually infuriating people because people know what they're paying at the grocery store. They know what they're paying for their kids' clothes and school supplies. They know what they're paying for their electricity bills. And so that approach does not work. We need compassion, and show that we care about the American people and show that we are in the trenches with them on what they're going through. That's first and foremost. You don't gaslight them, you don't lecture them, and you don't deny what's happening.
It was overtime. My kids' daycare went up. Can't afford the cost of food. Using credit cards for everyday expenses. No money left after their bills were paid. Pretty much just a whole bunch of financial mess.
We changed presidents at the beginning of the year.
We did.
And the guy who moved into the White House said that he was going to fix it. Several times he said it would be easy.
Absolutely.
Has he fixed it?
Absolutely not. I'm definitely waiting for him to fix it.
Jones is a 3-time Trump voter, but she says he has simply failed to keep his promise to lower the cost of living.
I'm very let down by that. Very, very let down because I feel like it's only gotten worse.